Okay, training with a purpose. You need to focus on this. The idea with your training is there should be a purpose for every run. Okay? The purpose might be a recovery run. The purpose might be an easy aerobic run. The purpose might be an interval session. Might be a light speed. Might be a tempo run. Might be a race. Might be a long run. But every session should have a purpose. What you don't want to do is do what I call RAFE runs. Run as you feel. Okay, you know how everybody says listen to your bodies and yada, yada, yada. The only time you want to make any kind of judgment on your training without having a plan in advance, and even then I would say just a little bit, is kind of in the early phases in the summer where you're just trying to put miles in. Okay, so if you feel good, you can go a little bit further. Okay, if you're not feeling good, do the best you can to try to get what you plan to run, 6-mile run or whatever. Okay, but what you don't want to do is go out there without a plan and react to how your body feels on that day. Okay, in the end, the goal is to train your body to perform the way you want it to, when you want it to. Okay? So you're not at the state meet, or you're trying to qualify for the state meet, and that's your big meet, and you're on the starting line hoping it's going to go well, hoping it's going to be your day. Okay? You have to know, as you hit the starting line for the championship season, that there's only two possible outcomes. Good race or great race. Okay? Because you prepared right and you've trained your body to do what you want it to do. If you react every day in your training to how your body feels. Oh, I felt good today, so I hammered it. Okay, well, I didn't feel good today, so I slowed back. All right, does that mean that you get a race, that you're going to hammer it when the days you feel good, and you're going to back off and do a bad job in the days you don't feel good? Okay, that's the problem. You're trying to train your body to do what your mind commands it to do. So if you have a purpose, a plan for all of your training, I'm going to show you guys a periodization schedule that we do at Florida State. And so I will set up the whole macro cycle. Anybody know what a macro cycle is? Okay, okay, Coach knows. Tell them.
Macro cycle is when you have a yearly plan.
Okay, or in this case, as a distance runner, we'll do 2 macro cycles in a year. One for cross country and one for outdoor track. Okay, but it's a plan, it's a seasonal plan. I know.
Sorry, I mean seasonal.
Yeah, so it takes you from the very beginning, through the phases of training, all the way to the peak. You take your break and you go again. If you're a year-round distance runner who's really locked in, you got 2 weeks off after track season, 2 weeks off after cross country. 52 minus 4 is what? 48 weeks divided by 2 is what? 24 weeks. So the maximum you can have of a full training cycle would be 24 weeks per macro cycle. For most of you guys, you're probably going to look at somewhere from 18 to 22 weeks. It's a lot of running. You need a little more time to regenerate than an older runner. Okay? So you're going to set it up with a purpose, and we'll have like a little square, and each square is going to have an identifying training component. Easy D means easy distance. LS, light speed. Okay? Long for long run. REC, recovery run. So every day we've got a plan to be able to do what we want to do on that day when your body commands it. Okay? We don't want to be reactive. So in your daily training, if you're in a hard workout day and you don't feel good, you still got to give your maximum effort even if the results don't show. Okay? Give your effort. You can control effort. You can control your focus and how hard you train. You can't always control the exact outcome, but in the end, you want to control the outcome. You want to say, okay, it's either going to be a good day or a great day, depending on whether I feel good or I feel great. Okay? One of the great runners in our sport was a guy named Joaquim Cruz. Okay, Joaquim was a Brazilian guy, ran for the University of Oregon. And he won the 1500, 800 double at the NCAA championship. And I was lucky enough to the Vegas Coaches Distance Summit to be invited and be on a panel with Joaquim Cruz, who was the world record holder at 800 meters, 142, low at the time. He had a record for quite a long time. Kevin Sullivan was on that, and several others. And it was a coaches clinic for people all over the country working on their level 2. It was a distance summit of coaches, mostly college coaches, trying to advance their training in their profession. And Joaquin Cruz, such a celebrity that the rest of us looked at Joaquin. He sat right next to me. It was pretty cool. And just listened to some of the questions they kept asking him. And Joaquin Cruz had a really interesting point that talks about training your body to do what you want it to. His coach was a guy named De Oliveira, a Brazilian coach who did all kinds of crazy training methods. And one of the things that was a little bit crazy was even for his half-milers, they had this elaborate, like 40-minute warm-up, okay, before an 800-meter race. And part of that warm-up was about a 5 or 6 minute tempo run, like an upscale, heart-raising tempo run at basically the mile pace that he was running a mile. So he'd pound 5 minutes or so to get everything jacked up. That's a world record guy. Don't try this at home, as they say on TV. All right? But a lot of you guys will go in, you'll run your warm-up, and you see how you feel, and you'll start to gauge whether you're going to have a good day or not. Okay, today's my day. Oh, I felt like crap in the warm-up. Today's not my day. Well, Joaquin Cruz had a really interesting story about warm-up and this whole 9 yards. So he had this really long, elaborate warm-up. It was at the very end of the European season. In fact, they were in Asia. They were in Korea. And he was picking up a paycheck at the end of the season, as these guys do. Joaquin runs the whole warm-up. He comes back to his coach and says, "Coach, I feel like total crap. It's been a long season. Take me out of the race. I'm completely shot. There's no way I can do anything today." And De Oliveira said, "Look, first of all, they paid us to run, so you're going to run. Second of all, your race is on the track. Get your rear end out there." Okay? So Joaquin was like, "Oh, all right." He goes out there, gets the starting line, presumes it's going to be the worst day of his life, and then proceeds to set the world record for 800 meters that day. Okay? If that's not an indelible argument for not predetermining your fate based on how you feel in warm-up or how you feel 3 or 4 days leading up to a race, I don't know what is. Remember Joaquin Cruz, who begged the coach to take him out of the race and then set the world record. Okay, for 800 meters. I don't think you can sit and kick or loaf your way through 142.4. Okay? So remember that as you're training your body to do what you want it to do. Don't block an effort based on mental negativity. Don't block an effort. Get out of your own way and let your running and your training take over. Keep it simple, stupid, as they say. Okay, so remember that. We're trying to train with a purpose. Don't block your effort. One of our top guys this year, Kieran Leonard, was in unbelievable shape. Irish guy. Set 2 ACC records, 1,500 and 5,000 on the same day. On a double, about 3 hours apart. Okay? You know who Robbie Andrews is? You know, 144 guy. He beat Robbie in the 1,500 that day. Robbie's pretty good. Okay? Couldn't handle my guy on that day. All right? Came back and beat All-Americans in the 5K. Even was able to do a little Seminoles chop the last 50 meters, which almost got us qualified. But anyway, he wasn't taunting, but you know, he was celebrating a bit too much. So, Kieran, throughout the season, particularly as we got into the championship season, the racing season, he'd come up to me before and say, "Coach, I feel like complete crap today." Sometimes it was just a really, really hard workout, which for us, that was more difficult than the races because they were hard training and you knew you were going to really dig deep in the well and hurt that day. And usually for a longer period of time than the race. So there was a lot of anxiety about some of the workouts we were doing, particularly when we were really in shape and we were sharpening up and getting really, really fit. And some of those workouts, he's like, "Coach, I don't know, I'm just going to hang with the second and third guy and see how I go today." At the end of the workout, he'd be dropping bombs on people. Okay?